is, number one, you guys have to be paying attention because as I'm demonstrating, this is your class demonstration for what needs to happen today. All right, but it also needs to be quiet because the videotaping is going to serve the purpose of providing the demonstration for 7th period because Mr. Shane's not an artist. Okay. Okay, shh. You got it? You good? Okay. Okay, so today in expressions, what your task to do is the first thing, if you have not glued your template down to a cardstock, you'll need to get a piece of cardstock that fits the size of your design. Place glue around the perimeter of your design and secure it down. The second thing you're going to need to do is actually take a pin and you're going to need to poke holes through every single intersecting point. The purpose of that is by poking holes through every single intersecting points, it's going to transfer your design points onto this side of the paper. So you'll take a pin, a push pin, and you'll simply poke a hole accurately, it needs to be accurate, along every single point. And so what that's doing, if you're asking, saying, well, why can't I just poke the hole through when it's time to thread it with the needle? What this is doing is creating your design pattern on the front. So when you have a line design and you sew one side across, you have a marker from the front side of where it needs to go to. So this should take you, because you do want the lines to be accurate and straight, I would imagine that using the push pin to designate the lines will take you approximately 10 to 15 minutes. And then after you have done that through every line, I'm not going to do it through every line just for the sake of time, but once you have done it through every line, you will take a thread color of your choice. Now remember, from the front of your design, looks like I missed one there. From the front of your design, you should have color coded it. So if this parabola, if this is one parabola right here, the blue should be blue here and blue there. That acts as your guide. When you're working, this is the back side of your project. So you're going to thread a needle and tie a knot, and you always start from the back side of your project. Why are you starting from the back side of your project?
So that the knot is on the back and not the front.
Thank you. So that the knot is on the back and not the front. After I have threaded the needle for the first time, I'm going to actually take a piece of tape and somewhere not over my dots, I'm just going to tape that down to secure it so that that knot does not pull through. Who can tell me where this first line goes? If we're looking at this as a parabola, where does this first line go?
The top.
Does it go all the way up to the top?
Yeah.
Or does it go to right there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's going to go right there. So that becomes a little bit confusing. So you're going to have to give yourself a little bit of a marker just when you start your guide. And it goes through to this point right here. Okay. After I pull that first one through, I flip it to the back. Do I pull my needle all the way back across? No, I go to the very next spot, pull it through, and then have it carry over to the next area. Flip my paper over, move over to the next dot. This is why it's so handy to have the dots already there for you. It's a guide, so from the front I can see exactly where the placement of the next parabola line will be. Flipping this over, repeating the process until I've completed a parabola. You can see that the strings are pulled in securely. They're nice and tight. They're not loose strings, not so tight that it's going to rip the paper, but it's secure enough to have the design be solid. I'm going to repeat this process until I have the entire parabola design done. Should you run out of thread like this, refer back to your sewing skills. You will cut this off. You'll tie a knot. You can actually tie an actual knot right like this. Tape it down, re-thread, tape it down, re-thread your needle, and then carry on from the same spot you were at with the same color thread. Okay, by the end of class you should have the goal is to have one entire parabola done.